Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to be here with you. I sure have missed you guys. It has been a wild and crazy holiday season. I hope that you all had a nice holiday and found some time to just live, laugh, and love and be inspired by this wild experience, being a spiritual being in a human body. All right, here we go. Let's see what messages Spirit has for you. Let's see, what does Spirit want Pisces to know? What does Pisces need to know right now? A lot happening with the sign of Pisces. It's all over the internet. I'm never sure why I get things. People know I'm a Pisces reader, and that's why I get Pisces stuff or what. But I watch Libra, stuff sometimes, but not so much Pisces. So it's always interesting to me how you get what you get in your feeds, right? But Pisces, I sure have been getting a lot of stuff about how Saturn and Neptune are exiting the sign of Pisces and moving into Aries. It's a big, big deal. And certainly they're saying Pisces will feel it the most. Excuse the paint on my table. My husband's making me something that goes on top of this for me to paint on. Okay, guys. You're getting passion, tranquility, courage, memory, and pride. And, I feel like there is some kind of message here about being prideful in the past, or even having a past memory of someone who was very prideful or very egoic. And there is this energy in your reading just that I'm picking up on right now and feeling very strongly that we don't need to control. Like, everything works out exactly as it's supposed to. It unfolds perfectly. And that everything that you need for the next step in your journey will be there when you get there. I think pride kind of prevents us a lot of times from being able to fully embrace and accept ourselves and our journey exactly the way that it is. Pride kind of tells us that we're not enough, or that we're not allowed to fail, or that we have to be perfect, and that we can't let people see our humanity or our imperfections. And there's just something here about a lesson around pride. And it's either in having dealt with people who are prideful, or it is in the lessons you have learned by being prideful. We all have pride, and we have all succumbed to its lure, at times. It is very alluring. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just be perfect, or always appear to be perfect, or never fall down? Like, for some reason, what just occurred to me was Jennifer, God, I cannot think of her name, but she was the girl in the Hunger Games, and she won an Academy Award, and when she was going up these steps to accept her award, she tripped, and I just saw that. It was like, wouldn't it be nice if we never tripped going up the stage? And that actually happened to me once when I was a photographer on probably the biggest job I've ever done. I was walking with a bunch of men, which, my industry is full of a lot of males. And I was going up the steps in a dress, a really long dress, and I tripped over the hem of my dress with my camera, with these guys in mid-conversation, on location, and wiped out. And it was so funny. I could not stop laughing. And they started laughing. We were all laughing, and it turned into like a moment. But even still, like that night, I remember as I was like resting or like getting ready for bed, I kept thinking about how embarrassing it was. Even though it really was, fine. It was funny. Like, we were all laughing, but just like, oh, I wish that hadn't happened. And it's like, why? You're human, why do we get hung up on these things, and why do we beat ourselves up about it later, or why do we replay those moments in our life? Like, maybe that's what's happening here. But it's just sort of giving me, like, there's this energy with this memory of turning our back on it, of denying it access to our sacred space, this pride. Perfection is elusive. We will never find it. We will never become it. We will never, experience it in this life. We just won't. If our goal and our aim is perfection, we will be on an unquenchable journey. I can't find the words, but you know what I mean. And so it's kind of like, that's what pride is really, I don't know, the word is coming to me, assuming, or it's making the assumption that like someone is perfect, or that we can be perfect, or that it is attainable, or that we should already be it, or that we should not let anyone know that we are not it. That really prevents us from really having a deep experience with ourselves in this life and fully embracing our own irreplaceable, unique presence, So there is something here about letting that go, or turning our back, or at least protecting a certain sacred space within ourselves where we just don't let this voice in. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but that's what's coming to me here. And then you have this tranquility and courage, and it's giving me this vibe of it taking courage to protect your peace at all cost. It takes courage to not conform, or to not play small, or to not diminish your own light in the presence of people whose lights are not shining as bright, or who are not as comfortable with themselves, or who are not at peace with themselves or their situation or their journey. It takes courage to leave those kinds of situations, or to find your independence and your individuality, find safe harbor in that, and be good with that. But when we are self-accepting, and we are good with ourselves as an individual and our relationship with ourselves, and we protect it at all costs, we don't say, oh, I really wish someone cared, or sent me a text, or called me, or whatever, and the price I have to pay to have that is to diminish myself. Okay, I'll diminish myself. No, that's too great a cost. That is costing you too high a price. And your peace is your abundance. Your peace, that your peace is worth more than anything outside of you can offer you. It's your foundation, it's your center, it's your everything. And so there is this courage in saying, this is my peace, and I protect it with everything. I do not compromise. I do not open myself up to something within myself or without myself, outside of myself or inside of myself, that is going to affect my peace in a negative way. Like there's just this really beautiful energy of recognizing our own effect on our peace, and the outside world's effect on our peace, and also recognizing the value and worth of the peace itself. And that, peace has a lot to do with our vibration and the energy that we give off, and the energy we give off is the energy we attract. So when we are at peace and we are accepting with ourselves, we attract that which accepts us as well and sees the beauty in us as well. And it's having confidence and faith. Those things don't find you in the first 5 minutes you embrace that energy. It takes time. It takes time and time and time. And sometimes the length of time it's taking causes you to tremble, causes you to stumble on it, to say, is this worth it? Is this working? Is this really the quotient? Is this really the solution to the problem? Is this really the answer? And all you have to do is compromise it once and you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's the quotient, that's the answer. Because if it costs you your peace, it costs you too much. It's too expensive. And you'll find it out every time. And you have passion on the bottom of the deck. So I feel you're beginning a quest of pursuing your passion. Or you're having an opportunity where possibly this energy, maybe you have been protecting your peace or prioritizing your peace. And really working on your own thoughts and on who you allow into your sacred space. And now it's about to kind of come to fruition where these things start to align and the people who align with your energy come towards you. This feels like an energy coming towards you. It also feels like a seeking energy where it's like now you finally have the freedom to pursue maybe your passion, because when you protect your peace and you make that your practice, you do get a self-confidence. You do get an energy of like, almost like a deep inner knowing that your voice is everything and that it does matter, and that, you know, that exact individual nature of you is your superpower. You know, we sometimes are like, gosh, I wish I wasn't like this. I wish I wasn't like this. You know, or I wish I could be more like that. And it's like, if instead we say, this is who I am, this is how I am, let me explore that. Let me lean into that. You know, especially like if you were raised in an environment where you were too emotional or, you know, whatever, or you had a friend group and people were not sensitive to your feelings or whatever, and you learned to kind of, you know, be less emotional or whatever, you didn't have the opportunity to explore what emotion can bring, what emotion can mean, what deep emotion has to offer you. You know, you never got a chance to really dive into that or lean into that or explore that. And, you know, emotion is information. It's our compass. It's our guide. It is a lot of times a key ingredient of what makes us us. And so getting curious about that, looking at that, kind of falling in love with yourself, and the unique things that make you unique, and just embracing that and not looking around and saying, man, you know, that's better, or you know, I want a lot of friends and that person has a lot of friends and they're like that, so I must need to be like that to have a lot of friends. It's like that's all sort of apples and oranges. And you know, are those really friends? Those are just humans that are surrounding that human, and they may not actually be friends. That bridge may not be friendship. What is friendship, you know? And so I don't know, but it feels like here there is this protection of who you really are, and then this attraction of like-minded or like frequential, you know, situations, opportunities, and people that maybe now can find you. You know, maybe now you're in a circle where finally, oh, okay, or you're in a new job, or your job has shifted and changed, and now, you know, there's new people coming in, or people are evolving and changing, and people that you haven't historically gotten along with now are becoming much more interesting. And, you know, I mean, who knows? But there is this opportunity to pursue some passion and to possibly have people that share your passion or share your vision, or kind of, I'm even getting like want to follow. I'm hearing some song, Where You Lead, I Will Follow. Is this Carol King? I think so. Okay. You might be surprised of the influence you have when you exert it. When you exert the desire to exert it or something like that. I don't know. Okay. Oh, wow. You have a heliotrope. And these are, you know, wow. Okay. It's so interesting. These flowers are so relevant to right now. It feels like a timing thing with the heliotrope and the hyacinth. You know, we often force bulbs in the winter in our homes, right? Amaryllis and hyacinth and paperwhites are oftentimes the flowers that the bulbs that we force at this time. And hyacinths have such an incredible smell. They are such a mood uplifter. You know, if you are finding yourself, you know, kind of sad or depressed or heavy, look for a hyacinth bulb that you can force, because it is just, I just feel like you can't be sad around a hyacinth. Like, they're pink and blue normally, you know, they're just the color of them, you know, no matter what color you get. But their scent and their presence, and they are really strong bodied blooms and plants. I don't know, there's something so hopeful about them, their strength, and in every way, the intensity of their color, the strength of their fortitude, the strength of their scent. It's like pushing through something with a slow and steady grace and power, and I don't know. And this whole reading is just, it's like giving me this vibe of like the hyacinth doesn't compare itself to the heliotrope, which I just want to I there's a flower called a hellebore, and it blooms, the hellebore blooms, you know, under the snow. It's like the first flower that comes up, and it comes up like before the daffodils and everybody. And I for some reason I'm associating this heliotrope, which grows in my zone, with you know, it grows in zones 9 through 11. I'm in 10. So it grows at the same time as the hellebore, I think. I don't necessarily feel like this is super important to even like have this drawn out conversation about it, but it does feel like this is something with the hyacinth and the heliotrope where, and for whatever reason, it's bringing hellebore in, and I don't think hellebores and heliotropes are related. I think I'm just associating the time that they bloom together, potentially. But what I am feeling is a timing thing. And I don't know if it is like the late winter energy of it, because I'm getting like pushing through snow kind of vibe, or like current contemporary, like right now time frame. But it feels like there's a lot of growth sort of packed in to this, like potentially like late December, early January energy. I mean, I guess we only have like 3 days left in December. I think it's the 28th, I'm not sure. But it feels like there's a lot packed into this little time. And actually, now that I'm saying it and putting months with it, with the feeling that I have, I'm also getting Saturn and Neptune move into Aries, I believe, at the end of January and in February. So it's like kind of, yeah, that same time frame. So there might be a lot packed into this like last moment of having Saturn and Neptune in your sign. This is the completion, or the you'll sense it, you'll know it. It's just coming through to me in this way of, I think there's a lightening of your spirit. There is like a changing of an attitude or an energy here that is rising. Says playful on the hyacinth, and this says devotion and dreams fulfilled, and this says enthusiasm and friendship. And I do feel this energy of like minded people coming in, or even this energy is giving me like people that you have known or that you have a friendship with. There is a stronger sense of connection there with certain people. Some people may fall away, but certain people may become even more important to you. There could be, I mean, if you're in a relationship, there could be a deepening of a level of commitment. There's something that's growing and changing that you can maybe feel but not necessarily see, right? We feel when spring is approaching, you know, like we feel the energy of, oh, the flowers are going to start blooming, the birds are going to start returning, like it's all going to happen, the frost is going to clear, and the earth will be renewed and wet and damp and muddy, and you know, like we almost intrinsically have this feeling. And it's just giving me that, like, you're aware of a season that's approaching and a season that's ending. And it does feel like the season you're approaching, it says dreams fulfilled. Your devotion to this protecting your peace energy feels like now it's going to blossom into something. It's going to materialize. It's going to pay off. You know, it's not when we first plant the seed that happens. It is in time, right? Okay, so let's see. I feel we're embracing our imperfection here, or like, it's not even imperfection. It's like almost embracing that imperfection has its own perfection. Wow. This is a very high priestessy energy, isn't it? You have dog spirit, which of course, you know, I love. It says, be loyal to what you love. And then you have snake spirit, time to heal. And that's a 55. You also have 3, 4, 5, 5. So there is an energy kind of a progression here. And even she's got wheat on her dress, and that is giving me this energy of coming into fruition, coming into abundance, becoming. You also, on this owl spirit, you have the same forget-me-nots that you have here. See, you have learned something from a past experience with pride. You are wiser now. And you're carrying that wisdom forward. You're seeing things that you didn't before. I was listening to a podcast by this like incredible artist. Her name is Inca. What is her name? It's S. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't care, but Inca Essenhai. Inca, Inka Essenhai. Anyway, now I can't even remember what I was going to say to you, but she was talking about, I mean, she was explaining these kind of like abstract ideas, and she was sort of saying like, you know, as a young artist, or like, not really as a young artist, but she was saying, you know, like she used to go out and like look at other artists' work and think, I wish I could do that, or like I'm gonna go home and try to emulate that artist. And she was like, I don't do that anymore. Like, I know who I am, you know, I like the mark that I make, I like the line that I draw, you know. And it's just occurring to me that this is like very much aligning with this energy of embracing your own individuality and not wanting to be like other people. And you know, this loyalty, be loyal to what you love, and this energy of abundance, and this energy of, you know, being able to see things clearly. She also was talking about how, you know, now when someone asked her, like, how do you react when people critique your work? And like, as an artist, what you create is deeply personal, right? I'm sure a lot of you have created things, and you know that it is deeply personal. And she said, like, now she understands what people's motives, like, that people have motives in critiquing things. She was like, sometimes they just want to be relevant to my story or in my life. You know, they want to be able to say whatever it is that they said and like somehow like be a part of her story or her life, you know? Sometimes, I mean, you know, because they're human too. They have their own insecurities and their own needs to meet and whatever, right? And so, of course, it's Brene Brown talks about this, like, you know, those people that sit in the stands of the arena, which is actually based on a speech by Theodore Roosevelt called The Arena, I think, where, you know, they're not willing to get in the arena and actually fight, actually put their art out there, or, you know, expose themselves to the same kind of criticism that they're doling out, right? We all know they're the internet trolls of the world and the this and the that, who aren't really willing to push up their sleeves and get in there and go for it. But, you know, she's saying, so now it doesn't really affect her so much. And she was like, I am kind of a baby about it, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, because that, to be a baby about it, I feel like says, I put my soul in there, you know, I put my heart in there. You are critiquing my work, yes, but you are critiquing almost like something more than that. I don't even know how to say it. It's not necessarily like taking it personally, but it is deeper than that. But you know, you're seeing, you're less put off by, you're less likely to be delayed or obstacled by what other people's opinions, or by what other people say, or by the no's that you get or the rejection you get. You're more likely to kind of like push through that energy now, because you're seeing it for what it is, and you know that it's an unavoidable part of life, and that people are people and they're going to do that. But that doesn't mean that it has to affect you or stop you or delay you from your own purpose, your own expression, your own, or that your own thing isn't good. It is good. And so, and it's like just continuously pushing until you find the space where it is appreciated and understood, and where you're finally among a group of people who can be generous, can be, you know, like happy for you, you know, and happy for your expression or discovery or whatever it is you're putting out there. You know what I'm saying? So it requires a lot of dedication and loyalty, to both protect your peace, and to stay loyal to your true individuality, like your contribution. Like, imagine if Van Gogh had given up. Like, imagine if Monet had given up. Imagine, like, I don't know, you know. It's not just artists, it's also like, imagine if Einstein gave up. Okay, let's dive into the tarot. Something's going on here, Pisces. Like, something's going on. I feel like you're giving birth to something. Yeah, look at this. You are definitely seeing clearly now. You have this this is, I mean, this is really radical, amazing energy here, Pisces. Like, also purple, crown chakra, trusting our inspiration and the place that our inspiration comes from. What made you think that? And also actually seeking answers from that space, that crown chakra space, that connection to the divine, slowing down, quieting the body, just being silent and asking. You know, you can always ask ascended masters, spirit guides, angels, the divine, whatever, to guide you, to guide your thoughts, to guide your inspiration, to guide your hand. Every time I'm doing a reading, I ask, you know, to be guided in my thoughts, in my words, and in my feelings to the messages that are in the highest and best good of all. And, you know, there is that kind of energy here, but applied in your own way, right? This death energy is, there is a completion. There is something that has happened here where you are not the same person that you were in your like former life. You know what I mean? In this former cycle that you were in. It's like, you know, and not only have you changed, but the times have changed. It's giving me that I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. I like something like this. I don't know. I'm not actually knowing what that is, but it's like I'm not afraid anymore. You know, I'm dauntless. I'm courageous. I'm, you know, I know that what I'm protecting and what I'm putting out there is worth it and is important and is as worthy as any other thing. And I will not be dissuaded. I will not be, and people can't fuck with you because you're seeing things clearly. Because if they try to fuck with you, you're just looking at them unaffected. You're just looking at them like, look, I've been through all of this. I put my time in, I put my dues in, or whatever. I've already done to myself much worse than you could ever do to me mentally, even in the head space here, potentially. And I am way stronger than that now. You know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You know, this is the vibe I have here. And it's like, I can see it just so clearly. And I know that I know myself and my mission and my alignment enough to know that I am truly divinely guided here. With the Six of Wands, you're finally getting recognition. You're finally getting recognized. It's like the outside world is finally coming into alignment with you. You see, and he's holding this dragon that's in an egg. I literally just saw this morning on Instagram that that archaeologists found a dinosaur embryo or like fetus in an egg, intact, fossilized somewhere. And then I'm seeing this and I keep having this feeling of giving birth. And so there's something profound here, something, it's giving me ancient and future at the same time. I don't know. It's divinely guided. Wow. Oh my God, you guys, seriously? You have the King of Swords here. I literally saw it as the King of Saturn. See, I saw this as the King of Saturn. Something is happening with this change that is happening here. I feel like I need to just do like that. You are making the world your B-I-T. You know what I'm saying? You are making the world your bitch. And people are going to be pissed about it. People are going to say nasty things. People are going to criticize. People are going to be jealous. People are going to be envious. People are going to, it just is. It just is. It's a natural way, but it is also perfect that it is that way. And I think you see that. I think you understand it because you are shining. And as a result, people are having the opportunity to see themselves. and to see what they could do if they were not so wrapped up in their pride, if they were not so afraid of looking like a fool, or if they were not afraid of their own imperfection, if they were not afraid to get in the arena, they would do it. That like you getting in the arena, and you see, you have the Death with the King of Wands in reverse. The King of Wands in reverse for me is an energy of someone who knows what they want, but they're afraid to go after it. They don't actually take action on it. And this is like a really, really hard energy, because it's like, you know what you want, you know what you want, you know what you want, but you're crippled. In a way, it's like, it kind of gives me the vibe of like being conscious and wanting to say something, but not having a voice, not being able to actually say it. And the conflict and the frustration that would cause within you. You know what I'm saying? And so you have this Ace of Swords with the Six of Cups, and you see you have this energy of memory with this energy of pride, and this forget-me-not energy with this forget-me-not energy, with this sword of truth and clarity with the Six of Cups. It's like there is something that you have already learned that you have come into a place of harmony with and acceptance with. You're no longer trying to change it. You're no longer fighting against it. You're no longer allowing it to create conflict or a lack of movement within you. You're no longer allowing it to control you. You're almost surrendering to it and just saying, I accept that that is the way that it is, and that is just how it is. And I can't change that. And being frustrated about it, or allowing it to kind of put me in gridlock, is only preventing me from reaching my own potential. And so you're pushing through it, or you have pushed through it, and you've come to a place where you're harmonious with the understanding of what it is, and that you cannot change it. And you're not allowing it to stop you anymore. You have complete clarity on it. You're not allowing things in the material world, inside of you, your thoughts, and outside of you, other people's pride or your own pride, from taking action and doing what you are here to do, what you are meant to do. And as a result, it's kind of like the rest of the world can either, go get in harmony with you, or just stay in conflict with you. But either way, they're not your judge. They're not your maker. They're not your determiner. Whether it's good or it's bad, they're not it. And so what happens is those people who do not support it are going to fall away, because they can't stay with this frequency. They can't stay with this energy. They're not in harmony with it. They haven't come to the same place of peace and acceptance with that being a fact of life, and with you, with no longer allowing that to play such an important role anymore. You see what I'm saying? I hope this makes sense. It's super abstract, but you do have these 2 6s, and you had that 3, 4, 5, 5, and now you're getting these 2 6s. So there's this progression to this place of, not I was able to change it, but I was able to come to peace with it. I was able to come to harmony with it. Something that stopped you before cannot stop you anymore. You're the King of Swords. You're wielding this clarity that you have. You're putting it into action. You're taking the bull by the horns. You're not afraid to approach the bull anymore. Yeah. Here's the High Priestess. Yeah, you have moved through some kind of blockage, and now the decisions that you are making are now reflective of this. The High Priestess energy, which is your energy, Pisces. Because it's like if you felt like you were psychic before or something, and you were telling people, and people were like, oh, you don't know anything, oh, that's a bunch of hoo-ha, or whatever. And so you kind of let people's judgment of that stop you from speaking your truth or speaking what you knew, you know, you're not doing that anymore. You're like, no, I'm putting it out there because I now know that it is true, that it is coming from a divine source, that I do have this power, that this is a superpower, that this is something that I know and that I have to offer. And I'm offering it because that's my job. Because this high priestess is in alignment with this crown chakra energy. You know, she trusts where this information is coming from, and she has nothing to prove to anyone. You know, and so she's not going to let anyone prevent her from what she knows. You know what I'm saying? And you have this Nine of Swords with this Knight of Wands. And this energy, the Knight of Wands is that kind of unreliable knight, right? He's just always following his passion. There's something that, there's a fear that underlies that energy, right? When we're talking about the Knight of Wands as a player energy, right? Of someone who doesn't get deep into relationships. They're a love them and leave them kind of person, right? Or they only kind of get superficial with people, and when things start to get deep, they run, right? There's a fear underneath that like, if you knew who I was, you wouldn't be attracted to me anymore. Or like, I can't stay in this space long enough to face my truth, or to face who I am, or to do the hard work, or to, you know, even be willing to see my own flaws. You know, I'm not looking to grow and to expand as a person and to become the best version of myself I can be. I'm looking to avoid looking at those things. You know, I'm afraid of my own reflection. I'm afraid of what it would show me or tell me, right? And so there's this energy of, you know, having made progress, but then, you know, this Nine of Swords, and swords are our own thoughts and what people say, right? And this is the energy I keep picking up on here, where that it's like, oh, here we go. This is where everybody comes in and criticizes me and says this, and then there's like almost this energy of like a gang mentality here, or like, if one person says it, then a lot of people must think it or feel it. Like, I don't know if this is thoughts that you're thinking, or if this is like a pattern of actuality, you know what I mean, like a reception to you that's happening, but it's triggering these inner fears. But you know what happens when your fears are triggered over and over and over again? You become numb. You become to where they're not, you're like, okay, I faced this so many freaking times and I've survived it so many times that I'm no longer afraid of it. It no longer is a fear. So you can come to me and you can push that button, but I'm not going to respond the way that I once did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get a different response from me. I can't stop you from coming in and pushing the button, but I can respond differently. And so we see this Nine of Cups in the Fool card. And this is, if you have ever in your entire life, and this is why I keep painting, even though truthfully, probably I'm not that great a painter. I mean, I'm certainly a much better photographer, okay? Or at least the world tells me that, right? But I do it because I love it. I do it because there is this space of emotional contentment that I find and that I feel when I am discovering my voice through a medium that I'm not good at. When I'm falling and, you know, trying, and, you know, it's also that beginner's mind where it's like, I can't hold myself to a higher, I can't say, oh, I should be better than this. I mean, I guess I can say that. And sometimes, and I have in the past said that. But or even I wish I was better. It's like, I have come to the place of, I am where I am and I'm happy. And I'm excited about the journey. I'm excited about where this could go. I'm excited about finding out who I am through this form of expression. I mean, what an exciting thing, you know, to discover at this point in my life, you know? And there is a freedom, a liberating aspect of, I have no expectation of where this is going to go, because I'm not, if I put something out there photography wise, I have an expectation of like, well, it better be received like this, or you know what I mean? Like, I won't be living up to my own self or my own standard, you know what I'm saying? But with painting, it's like, I, some people do have an expectation because I'm an artist that I'm going to be a good painter, or that I'm a professional artist, or that I have been a professional artist for decades. That, of course, well, then, okay, you must be able to express yourself in paint as well, which I'm always floored by that, but I actually do get that. But that's other people's expectation of me. That's not my expectation of myself. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's good or bad is not why I'm here doing it. I'm here doing it because I'm exploring, because I'm curious, because I want to know what is there, And and that's this energy of the Nine of Cups and the Fool. It's like the contentment that comes from doing something for the sheer contentment of it, not for, and the nine is this individuation. It is this individual message. It is, this is something only I can say. It's like, with photography, people were always copying people. I actually know the person that invented larger than life photography. His name is Joel, and he's a really cool dude. He's colorblind and he's hysterical. He's very funny. And, like, it used to be like, I don't know if you guys watched like the shows on A&E or Discovery or something. They had like swamp. People were like alligator catchers in the swamp, and they would also get like big cypress logs and drag them back to, so he did all like the like opening credit. There's like a lot of photography there where it's like they superimpose the person on the background of where they work, only the person is in a much larger scale than the background. And there's a certain grittiness about the photography that sort of enhances this like tough feeling that you get. And so he was saying that, he invented this. And people would copy him to the point that then they would write to him and tell him how to do what he invented better than how he was doing it. They would come to him from such pride and such arrogance that they would say to him, it would be better if you did it like this. And so there's no end to what people will say or how people will whatever. But he was expressing himself exactly the way that he wanted to express himself, and there was no improvement on him that could be gotten outside of himself. It could only come from within him because it's his expression of himself. And he was like, people are going to copy you. You let them. You say, okay, fine, whatever. I guess I'm flattered that you think what I'm putting out there is so cool that you're going to spend your time and energy and money and resources trying to, do it too. And maybe you're going to go doing it. Like all of the greats have been copied. Pablo Picasso, Monet, the whole impressionistic movement is based on, the first artists that started doing it, right? So there's always copiers, and they do start movements. And there was a big movement after Joel started doing larger than life photography, where you saw larger than life photography all over the place, and so it when you do something cool, but he wasn't doing something cool to do something cool. He was doing something cool because that's where his curiosity led him. That's where his vision led him with the skills and the stuff that he had. He found that voice. He found that expression. He found that, path. And you can only find that path when you are inside yourself, trusting your own vision and trusting that what you have to say and what you have to express is worthy and is important. And that all really comes from a space of self-love. But with this high priestess energy and this Fool and this Nine of Cups, especially on top of that Nine of Swords, Knight of Wands energy, it's like, I'm not going to be blown about by, you know, this whim or this statement or what this person says or what I'm telling myself. I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to keep my mind quiet and listen to the voice of my intuition. It's a really beautiful, powerful thing. And that is how I will make every decision that I make, every choice I make. It will be a response to, is this making me happy? And, you know, it is this, you know, me expressing myself. Is this what I am trying to say? Is this, you know, my purpose, my point, you know? God, look at that. The Nine of Swords is a killer. I didn't realize there was so much. Okay. Wow, with the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is, oh my God, with the Seven of Pentacles. I felt the energy of the Seven of Pentacles right from the jump in this reading. And the Seven of Pentacles is that energy of like when you plant the seeds, it does not ripen the same day. And there is this energy of, you know, choosing this path where I am protecting my peace and I am believing in myself. And nothing shows up right away. You know, we're waiting for the frequential matches to just be magnetized to us and show up immediately once we choose this frequency and this energy and get there, you know? And it just doesn't happen like that. You know, it takes time of you being there and putting out that signal and staying true to that signal and not wavering and not being, you know, called back and then moved forward and kind of jumping around. Like, you've got to stay on that frequency for a while. You know, it's like if you're trying to hear your favorite song on the radio. I don't know how old you guys are, but like when I was a kid and we had like Casey Kasem, it was like you were waiting, you know, the top 40 countdown or whatever. You were literally waiting for your favorite song to come on. And it was like, you know, you could skip around the channels and hope that you would just catch your song on that channel by jumping around all over the place. Or you could just tune into Casey Kasem and go through the entire top 40 and know that if your song was in the top 40, you would hear it at some point. And he would always do these great lead ups to like this band and like tell this interesting story about the band. And here they are at number 14 on the chart, you know, like whatever, you know. REO Speedwagon, I want to know what love is, you know, whatever. And so there's just this energy of, you know, settling into a frequency and staying there and protecting that frequency and trusting that frequency and kind of knowing that there is a payoff in that, that it will come to abundance, and that, you know, there is a protective energy with the Seven of Pentacles of, you know, nurturing. You know, you don't just plant a seed and walk away from it and expect that you're going to have some bountiful harvest. You know, you pull the weeds back around it, you water it, you make sure it has sun, you make sure it has what it needs, you know, you plant it correctly, you tend to it. And so there's just this energy with that sort of is almost the summation of this whole reading. And, you know, with the Eight of Cups falling on this High Priestess, it's like maybe you reached a certain level of success by like, you know, catching your song on the radio by going from frequency to frequency. You are going to hit it every once in a while. My husband has this expression that just always cracks me up when he says it. He says, even a blind squirrel gets a nut sometimes. And it's true, right? Like you are, like just randomly, you are going to catch your favorite song on the radio at some point, you know, if you're just skipping around channels, right? Especially if it's a frequently played song, right? But like, and so you are going to get that reward sometimes. But this Eight of Cups and this High Priestess, it's like saying, I'm going away from that energy. I know I reached the level of success I could reach there. Now you know, and it's like also if you catch your song, you're not maybe catching it before it starts. Like maybe you're catching it halfway through the song or a fourth of the way through the song or whatever. And if you want the experience of just being able to sit back, relax, and enjoy the song from start to finish. Of course, we don't have this problem anymore, so this is a weird thing if you are not a person of my age. But this is kind of like saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give up the chance of hearing some portion of my song by jumping around all these, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna trust, you know, my intuition, which is telling me just tune into Casey Kasem, relax, enjoy the entire top 40, and you will be rewarded with that moment of being able to listen to your song from start to finish. It was like gold. And I'd sit there with my tape player and like be ready to hit record, play and record at the same time. Remember that? Before the song started, you know, so that I could then hear it over and over again. But yeah, like, I don't know, this is just saying, like, it is worth it to walk away from something that is almost there but isn't totally there, to have the pure contentment that comes with that 9 of Cups that we have over here with this Full card energy of you know, taking the chance, liberating yourself from kind of being stuck in the place of, you know, like, okay, well, this is good, it's all right, it's working, it doesn't really have the high, it's not really fulfilling that longing that I feel within myself, or what I kind of intrinsically know I'm capable of, or what I have this deep inner knowing of, that I have something to say, or that I have this voice, or this thing to express, right? But it is saying something, you know, it is providing something. Like, maybe it's a job where it's like, I'm not really happy there, but it is providing me this money, which does then allow me to have this lifestyle, which is, you know, somewhat rewarding, right? You know, so there is some payoff, but it's like, I can stay here forever and just experience this, or I can walk away from it for an opportunity at something much greater than that, something that actually brings me complete contentment. So it feels like we're moving through this stage of fear. You know, like, I can just see this so clearly in art, you know, where it's like, I know the type of painting that I'm doing is good, right? It's acceptable, it's selling, right? But I know that it's not the deepest place of meeting myself with paint and canvas. You know, I know that I have something else, and maybe it's going to take me away from this stable income of providing this type of art, right? But I might really discover myself and find the people that appreciate my voice if I push it, if I experiment, if I go on this path, if I really follow my joy and risk leaving this behind, or, you know, shattering this illusion of myself and with the public even. If you're interested, guys, I am starting an art channel for my painting. You know, I have no idea, I have no expectation, I have no clue, you know, what it is going to be, but you can see me being willing to put myself out there as an artist that has a certain reputation, that in one medium, that is just willing to completely fall on her face in another one, if you're interested. All right, you have the 10 of Wands and the Emperor and the Knight of Wands. So see, it can become a burden. It can become a burden to have something that is enough. You know, with the Knight of Wands, it's like, I can always find something else I'm passionate about, or some other place to move, you know, that I can get excited about, but I'm never staying and slaying my dragon. I'm never staying in this place and really facing myself, and really facing my fears, and really breaking through to the other side. It's enough. It constantly keeps me going in a direction, and I never run out of things like maybe that I'm interested in or whatever, or things to pursue or to look at, but I'm never really having the opportunity to really dive deep and to slay my dragons, you know, to really face myself and really figure out what it is I have to say. With the Emperor here, I mean, that's obvious. It's like I'm taking my power back and I'm trusting that it's in the highest and best good for all. So this is the completion of a cycle, for sure. A burdensome cycle. Whether we know it's burdensome or not, you know. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes the burden that exists is different than the burden that we're kind of aware of. Yeah, this is a major decision. Emperor and Justice. This is a major decision that you're making in your life. You have the Five of Cups here, and you have the Knight of Wands clarifying this Ten of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is a very big energy. This is about going after our passion. With the Five of Cups and the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Wands, there is this energy of like, I have spent a lot of time in this place where I haven't fully been able to explore myself, because I have maybe felt this pressure to have a certain appearance or to come across like I know everything, or like my life is exciting and interesting, or like whatever it is. But I haven't, and I regret that. I regret spending so much time, because it really became very heavy. It really became very burdensome. It's like trying to breathe life into something that really wants to end. But you're like, oh no, I got to keep this going because, it's providing for me, or it's providing something for me. It's okay. It's not awful. So I got to try to keep it going. And that can be a burden, and our image can be a burden, and our pride can be a burden. And, not wanting to look stupid can be a burden, and being afraid to like fall flat on our face can be a burden, or to look bad, or to be disappointing, or to not live up to someone's expectation of us. It can be hard. But it's also sometimes a risk worth taking. Because what are you really saying? You really are saying, I believe in myself, I believe in my voice, and I believe in that I have this power. And, this decision is not emotional with the Justice card. It is sound. The Emperor and Justice, it's like, this is the decision that I now know is in the highest and best good of everyone. And it is, because it's that old adage, like when, if you have an empty cup, you don't have anything to pour into anyone else's. And so while, whatever, like, I don't know, I just hope that you guys are getting it. If it's your reading, I feel like you are. It's like, I have more to offer, and by empowering myself first and foremost. And that's what this is. And it's like, I'm not waiting for you to tell me it's okay. I'm not waiting for you to tell me that you approve of my decision. I'm telling you that it's my decision to make, and I've made it, and I'm making it. I'm not going to sit in this space of regret and just watch my entire life slip by looking for your approval, or looking for you to tell me that it's okay for me to do this, or looking for any kind of validation from myself, like where I'm just not afraid of it anymore, so I'm willing to do it, or from you that like you'll support me if I go this direction. It's like, I don't need that anymore. I have it within myself. I know that it's within my own power to make this decision. Or it's almost like this seeing clearly energy. It's like it comes down to this point where you see it clearly, and you're like, okay, it's mine to do. Like it's my decision to make, and I'm taking that power for myself. I'm finally saying, boom, here it is. Here is who I am, and I'm letting you know. The time has come. Okay, let me get you guys some message cards. This is a bit of a long reading, but we've been away for so long from each other. I'm so sorry, you guys. I had amazing holidays. My babies were home. My son got engaged. I cooked so much good food with my kids. I love cooking with my kids. I love hanging out in the kitchen with my babies. Hung out with my dog and my grand dog and my husband, and rode around on the golf cart looking at Christmas lights, and it was just a really nice holiday, and I've missed you, and I'm happy to be back, but it's also been a really good time. All right, if you are dealing with a water sign, you will always be my secret love. Trust me, I regret how I handled things before. I am making plans. If you're dealing with a fire sign, doubting, guilt, I don't care what other people think anymore, okay? I don't want to let you down. All right, if you're dealing with an earth sign, I won't let you go. I'm sorry I triggered you. Indecisive, resentment. If you are dealing with an air sign, you are getting nostalgic, blocking. What we have here is soul recognition and excited. All right, guys. Well, I hope this helps. I hope this brought you some peace and clarity. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy holidays. And I'll see you guys back here as soon as I can. My daughter is still here for today and tomorrow. I'm gonna cry like a baby when she leaves, probably. Anyway, until next time, guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.